Hey Grok, tell me a story that's about 30 minutes long about another planet in our solar system that humans have just discovered.
All right, let's dive into a story about a newly discovered planet in our solar system. Picture this, a world hidden in the far reaches, beyond Neptune, where shadows and secrets swirl in a dance of cosmic mystery. Here we go. The year 2063.
Continue.
All right, so let's dive back into this cosmic tale about the newly discovered planet, where shadows and secrets swirl beyond Neptune. Here's the story, picking up right where we left off. The year is 2147, and humanity's reach into the cosmos has stretched far beyond the wildest dreams of the early space pioneers. Mars is a bustling hub of domed cities, and mining colonies dot the asteroids. But the solar system's edges, those cold, dark reaches past Neptune, have always been a mystery, a frontier too vast and too quiet. That is, until the signal came. It started with the Sound, a sleek, AI-driven craft launched by the United Earth Space Coalition to map the Kuiper Belt. The probe was designed to be a loner, drifting through the void, its sensors drinking in the faint whispers of distant objects. 6 months ago, it pinged something strange, a gravitational anomaly, too big to be a comet, too stable to be a rogue asteroid. The data suggested a planet, roughly twice Earth size, orbiting in a peculiar, elongated path at the solar system's edge. Scientists dubbed it Neptune, after the mythical realm of eternal dusk, because this world seemed to hover in a twilight zone where the sun's light was a mere glimmer. The discovery sent shockwaves through Earth's scientific community. A new planet? In solar system? The debates raged. Was it a captured rogue planet? A relic from the system's chaotic formation? The coalition didn't wait for answers. They assembled a crew, handpicked from the best of the best, and launched the Nisrat, a ship built for deep space exploration, toward Arendor. The mission? Land, explore, and uncover what secrets this planet held. The crew was a tight-knit group of 6. Captain Lena Voss, a steely-eyed veteran with a knack for keeping calm under pressure, led the pack. Her second-in-command, Dr. Arjun Patel, was a geophysicist whose obsession with planetary formation bordered on spiritual. Then there was Zara Kim, the exobiologist, always chasing the dream of alien life, her eyes sparkling with hope at every new data point. Engineers Mateo Cruz and Aisha Nadoy kept the ship's systems humming, while comm specialist Nikoly Volkov, a wiry Russian with a sharp wit, ensured their link to Earth stayed alive. They were a family, forged in the crucible of years-long missions, ready for anything, or so they thought. The journey to Arendor took 9 months, even with the Odyssey Dawn's cutting-edge fusion drive. As they approached, the planet loomed into view, and the crew fell silent, staring at the holographic display. Arendor wasn't like anything they'd seen. It wasn't a gas giant's swirling storms or a rocky world's barren crust. It was wrong. The planet glowed faintly, a deep indigo laced with veins of shimmering silver that pulsed like a heartbeat. Its surface was a mix of jagged obsidian peaks and vast glassy plains that reflected the faint sunlight in eerie, shifting patterns. And then there was the atmosphere, thin but thick.
Keep going.
All right, anyway, let's pick up where we left off, with the crew staring at Arendor's eerie surface, its thin atmosphere shimmering with that strange, pulsating glow. The Odyssey Dawn hung in low orbit, its sensors buzzing as they mapped the planet below. The crew was tense, their usual banter replaced by a quiet focus. That thin atmosphere was the first surprise. It shouldn't have been there at all. A planet this far from the sun, in the icy grip of the Kuiper Belt, should have been a frozen rock, stripped bare by cosmic winds. Yet Arendor's air held traces of nitrogen, methane, and something unidentifiable, a compound the ship's spectrometers couldn't pin down. Zara, the exobiologist, was practically vibrating with excitement, muttering about the possibility of microbial life. "This could be it," she whispered, her eyes glued to the data. This could be the one. Captain Lena Voss cut through the chatter. Focus, people. We're not here to gawk. Mateo, Aisha, prep the lander. We're going.
Keep going.
All right, so let's dive back into the story, with the crew prepping to land on Arendor, its strange atmosphere sparking Zara's hopes of alien life. Captain Lena Voss's voice was steady as she gave the order, but there was a tightness in her jaw that Nikolai caught from his station. He didn't say anything, just relayed the final diagnostics to Earth, his fingers dancing across the comms panel. The signal would take hours to reach mission control, hours more for a reply. They were on their own out here. The lander, a sleek pod dubbed Neptune, detached from the Odyssey Northern Cape with a soft shudder. Inside, Lena, Arjun, and Nikolai stayed aboard the mothership, monitoring from orbit. The descent was eerily smooth at first, Arendor's thin atmosphere barely tugging at the lander. Below, the planet's surface grew clearer. Those glassy plains glinted like liquid obsidian, while the jagged peaks seemed to twist at impossible angles, defying geometry. Mateo, ever the skeptic, muttered, "Looks like this place doesn't follow the rules." As the Nasrat touched down on a flat expanse near one of the silver-veined ridges, a faint tremor vibrated through the hull. Arjun checked the seismograph, frowning. "That wasn't us landing," he said. "This planet's active." Lena unbuckled and stood, her helmet reflecting the indigo glow streaming through the viewport. "All right, team. Suit up, check seals, grab your gear. We're here to explore, not speculate. Zara, you're on sample collection. Arjun, seismic scans. Mateo, you're with me on recon. Let's move." They stepped onto Arendor's surface, boots crunching against a strange, crystalline crust that sparkled under their lights. The air, too thin to breathe, but thick enough to carry sound, hummed with a low, rhythmic pulse, like a distant heartbeat. Zara knelt, her gloved hands scooping up a sample of the shimmering soil. "This isn't just rock," she said, her voice crackling over the comms. "It's organized, almost like it's been arranged." She held up a handful, and the grains seemed to shift, aligning in patterns before scattering again. Arjun's scanner beeped, pulling his attention. "I'm picking up regular seismic waves," he said. "Too regular, like they're timed, every 7 seconds, precise." Lena scanned the horizon, her hand resting on the grip of her plasma pistol. The silver veins in the nearby ridge pulsed brighter now, in sync with the hum. "Stay sharp," she said. "This place feels alive." They moved toward the ridge, their lights cutting through the twilight haze. Mateo pointed out etchings on the rocks, geometric shapes, spirals, and lines that looked too deliberate to be natural. "Erosion doesn't do this," he said, tracing one with his glove. "This is carved." Zara's voice broke in, urgent. "Captain, I'm getting readings from the soil sample. It's emitting low-level electromagnetic pulses, almost like a signal." Before Lena could respond, the ground trembled again, stronger this time. The silver veins flared, bathing the team in a blinding glow. Arjun's scanner went wild, spitting out data that made no sense. Gravitational fluctuations, energy spikes, and something else, a pattern that looked like communication. "This isn't a planet," Arjun whispered, his voice tight. "It's a machine." The team froze as the hum grew louder, now a deep, resonant thrum that vibrated in their chests. The etchings on the ridge began to shift, rearranging into new patterns, as if responding to their presence. Lena's instincts screamed at her to pull back, but Zara took a step closer, her eyes wide. "If this is a machine, someone built it," she said, "and they might still be here." Suddenly, a shadow moved behind the ridge, a flicker, too quick to track. Mateo spun, his light catching nothing but empty air. "Did anyone else see that?" he asked, his voice sharp. Lena raised her pistol. "Form up, back to back. We're not alone." The thrum intensified, and the ground beneath them began to split, revealing a faintly glowing chasm. From its depths came a sound, not a hum now, but a voice, low and guttural, speaking in a language none of them recognized. The etchings on the ridge pulsed in sync, as if translating. Zara's scanner beeped frantically, capturing fragments of the signal. "It's trying to talk to us," she said, her voice trembling with awe and fear. Arjun grabbed her arm. "Or it's waking up." The chasm widened, and a shape emerged, sleek, metallic, and impossibly large, its surface rippling like liquid. It wasn't a creature, not exactly, but it moved with purpose, its form shifting as if deciding what to become. Lena's voice cut through the comms, steady despite the chaos. Back to the Odyssey, now. Move. They ran, boots pounding against the crystalline ground as the thrum became a roar. The shape from the chasm rose higher, its surface reflecting their lights in 1,000 fractured patterns. Mateo stumbled, and Lena hauled him up.
Wow, what a great story. Keep going.
Glad you're hooked. All right, let's dive back in. With the crew sprinting toward the Icarus as that massive, shifting shape rises from the chasm, its liquid metal surface glinting like a nightmare under Arendor's twilight glow. The ground shook harder now, each tremor sinking with the deafening thrum that pulsed through their suits, rattling their bones. Lena led the charge, her plasma pistol still gripped tight, though she knew it was useless against whatever was. Mateo was back on his feet, panting over the comms, while Zara clutched her scanner like it was a lifeline, its screen flashing with incomprehensible data. Arjun lagged behind, stealing glances at the shape, his geophysicist's curiosity battling his survival instincts. They reached the Icarus, its hatch hissing open as they piled inside. Lena slammed the controls, sealing the door just as a wave of energy from the chasm rocked the lander. "Strap in," she shouted, her voice cutting through the chaos. Mateo's hands flew over the console, firing up the engines, while Zara and Arjun buckled in, their faces pale but focused. They lifted off, its thrusters roaring, but the ground below was no longer just ground. The glassy plane cracked like a shattered mirror, revealing more of those silver veins, now writhing like living things, stretching toward the lander as if trying to pull it back. Up in orbit, Aisha's voice crackled through the comms, urgent. "What the hell's happening down there? The Odyssey Dawn's sensors are going bendant."
Keep going.
All right, so let's jump back into the chaos, with the Icarus barely escaping Arendor's surface as those writhing silver veins reach for it, and Aisha's voice crackles through the comms, saying the Odyssey Dawn's sensors are going wild. The lander lurched as Mateo pushed the thrusters to their limit, the cabin rattling like it might tear apart. Outside, the planet's surface was transforming, those glassy planes splintered further, revealing a lattice of glowing circuits beneath, pulsing in sync with the thrum that now felt like a voice screaming in their heads. Lena gripped the controls, her knuckles white inside her gloves. "Aisha, Nikolai, prep the Dawn for immediate departure," she barked. "We're coming in hot." The Icarus broke through Arendor's thin atmosphere, the eerie indigo glow fading as they reached the black of space. The Odyssey Dawn loomed ahead, a sleek silver crescent against the void. But even from orbit, Arendor looked wrong. Its surface shimmered like a living thing, the silver veins spreading like roots across the planet's crust. Aisha's voice came through again, tense. "Captain, sensors are picking up energy spikes across the planet. It's like the whole thing's powering up." Nikolai cut in, his usual sarcasm gone. "And we're getting a signal, not from you, from it." Inside the Icarus, Zara's scanner was still screaming, spitting out data that made her eyes widen. "It's not just a signal," she said, her voice a mix of awe and dread. "It's a language, structured, repeating, like it's trying to communicate." Arjun leaned over, his face lit by the scanner's glow. "Or it's giving orders. Look at this." He pointed to a graph showing rhythmic energy pulses, perfectly timed, radiating not just from Arendor, but towards something beyond the solar system. "This isn't a planet," he repeated, quieter now. "It's a relay station." The Icarus docked with the Odyssey Dawn, the clang of the airlock a small comfort against the growing dread. The crew spilled out, their suits streaked with crystalline dust from Arendor's surface. Aisha was at the main console, her fingers flying as she pulled up holographic maps of the planet. "Look at this," she said, zooming in on the surface. The silver veins had formed a network now, a glowing web that pulsed with purpose. Nikolai, at the comms, played the signal they'd intercepted, a low, guttural rhythm laced with clicks and hums, alien yet deliberate. "It's broadcasting," he said. "Not to us, to something else." Lena stood at the center of the bridge, her mind racing. "Options, people. We can't stay here." Mateo, still shaken from the surface, checked the ship's systems. "Engines are good, but if that thing down there is waking up, we don't know what it can do. It could fry our systems, or worse." Zara, clutching her scanner, shook her head. "We can't leave yet. This is first contact, proof of intelligent design on a planetary scale. We need more data." Arjun shot her a look. "Zara, that's six..."
Keep going with the story.
All right, so let's dive back in, with Zara pleading to stay and collect more data, while Arjun's skeptical look cuts through her words like a blade. The bridge of the Odyssey was thick with tension, the crew's faces lit by the flickering holograms of Arendor's transforming surface. The planet below wasn't just alive, it was thinking, its silver-veined web pulsing faster now, as if it knew they were watching. The alien signal Nikolai had intercepted looped through the speakers, a guttural rhythm that set everyone's nerves on edge, like a predator's growl echoing in the dark. Lena's voice sliced through the debate. Enough. Zara, I get it. This could rewrite history, but if that thing down there decides we're a threat, we're dust. Mateo, plot a course out of orbit. Aisha, keep scanning for any sign of pursuit. Nikolai, send everything we've got to Earth. Priority 1. We're not dying out here. Mateo nodded, his hands already moving across the navigation panel, plotting a trajectory back toward the inner solar system. Aisha's scanners hummed, pulling in data at a frantic pace, while Nikolai compressed their findings, surface samples, seismic readings, the alien signal, into a burst transmission. Earth won't believe this, he muttered, his usual smirk replaced by a grim focus. Hell, I don't believe it. Zara, still clutching her scanner, looked like she might argue, but one glance at Lena's steely expression silenced her. Instead, she turned to the hologram, zooming in on the web of veins now covering half of Arendor's visible surface. It's accelerating, she said, almost to herself. The patterns are fractal, self-replicating. It's not just a machine, it's growing. Before anyone could respond, the ship shuddered, a deep vibration that rattled the deck. Aisha's console flared red. Energy spike, she shouted. From the planet, it's targeting us. The hologram showed a beam of silvery light lancing upward from Arendor's surface, narrow but impossibly bright, slicing through the thin atmosphere toward the Odyssey. Mateo yanked the controls, banking the ship hard to starboard. The beam missed by meters, but its proximity set off a cascade of alarms. Shields strained, systems flickered. Was that a warning shot or a miss? Nikolai asked, his voice tight. Not waiting to find out, Lena snapped. Mateo, full thrust, now. The Odyssey Dawn's fusion engines roared, pushing the crew back in their seats as the ship accelerated away from Arendor. The planet receded in the rear displays, but its glow didn't fade. It intensified, the silver veins now a blazing network visible even from space. Aisha's scanners picked up new signals, not just from the planet, but from the void beyond, faint echoes suggesting something massive was stirring in the Kuiper Belt shadows. Arjun, still glued to his seismic data, spoke up. Captain, those pulses we detected earlier, they're not just coming from Arendor. They're being answered. Something out there is listening. His screen showed faint gravitational anomalies, objects too large to be asteroids, moving in coordinated patterns far beyond the planet's orbit. Lena's mind raced. A network. Arendor wasn't just a relay. It was a hub, part of something bigger, something that stretched into the deep dark. Nikolai, any chance we can jam that signal? She asked. He shook his head. It's not like any frequency we know. It's quantum, maybe. Tangled particles, or some tech we can't touch. We'd need a decade to crack it. Then we run, Lena said, and we warn Earth. The ship hurtled through the void, but the sense of pursuit grew. Aisha's scanners flagged new energy signatures, smaller than the planet's beam, but faster, like darts of light weaving through space. Probes, she said, her voice steady but laced with fear. Dozens of them, closing fast. They're not ours. Zara, who'd been quiet, suddenly spoke, her eyes locked on her scanner. They're not attacking. They're scanning us, just like we scan the planet. Look. Her screen showed the probe signals brushing against the ship's hull, probing its structure, its systems, even the crew's biosigns. They're learning how to kill us, maybe, Mateo muttered, pushing the engines harder. The system grounded, its frame stressed by the acceleration. Lena made a split-second decision. Aisha, divert power to the rear shields. Nikolai, open a channel, broadcast static, music, anything to confuse those things. Zara, analyze their signals. If they're learning, we need to know what they want. The crew moved like a well-oiled machine. Nikolai blasted a mix of white noise and old Earth jazz across all frequencies, a chaotic symphony meant to scramble the probe's sensors. Aisha shunted energy to the shields, a faint shimmer visible in the rear displays as the probe's scans intensified. Zara's fingers flew over her scanner, decoding fragments of the alien signal. It's not just data, she said, her voice rising with excitement. There's intent. They're asking who we are. The probes didn't fire, didn't strike. They shadowed the Odyssey, their liquid metal forms, eerily similar to the shape from Arendor's chasm, glinting in the starlight. Each was no bigger than a car, but their movements were precise, almost alive. One darted closer, its surface rippling as it projected a faint hologram, a spiral of symbols, pulsing in rhythm with Arendor's signal. Arjun stared at it, his scientific mind kicking into overdrive. That's a response protocol. They're waiting for us to reply. Reply with what? Mateo snapped. We don't speak alien. Lena's eyes narrowed. Zara, can you mimic their signal pattern? Send something simple, our ship's ID code maybe. Zara nodded, her hands trembling as she worked. It's a long shot, but I'll try. She encoded the Odyssey Dawn's transponder signal into a rhythmic pulse, mimicking the probe's structure, and sent it out. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the probe stopped, hovering in perfect position. Lena's eyes balled as their
Keep going.
All right, so let's dive back in. With the probes hovering in perfect stillness, their liquid metal forms glinting as Zara's mimicry of their signal, an encoded version of the Odyssey Dawn's ID, hangs in the void like a held breath. The crew watched the holographic display, hearts pounding, as the spiral of alien symbols pulsed once, twice, then shifted. The guttural rhythm of Arendor's signal softened, almost as if the planet itself was considering the response. Lena kept her eyes on the probes, her hand still near her console's emergency controls. "Nobody move," she said, her voice low but firm. "Let's see what they do next." Zara's scanner beeped, pulling her attention. "They're responding," she whispered, her screen filling with new patterns, spirals within spirals, layered with rhythmic pulses that felt like words, though none they could understand. It's not just a reply, it's a question, like they're asking for more. Arjun leaned closer, his brow furrowed. "More what? Our tech? Our biology? Or just our story?" Nikolai snorted, his nervous energy breaking through. "Great, first contact, and we're playing Cosmic 20 questions with a planet-sized AI." The probes hadn't moved, but their surfaces rippled, each one projecting its own faint hologram of shifting symbols. Aisha's sensors picked up a new surge of energy from Arendor below, but this time, it wasn't a beam or a weapon. It was a focused transmission, aimed not at the ship, but at the probes. The web of silver veins on the planet's surface flared brighter, their fractal patterns spreading faster, as if Arendor was waking up fully now, its consciousness, whatever it was, stirring. Mateo, still at the helm, muttered, "I don't like this. Those things would swarm us any second." Lena ignored him, her mind racing. "Zara, send another signal, something personal, and code our names, our vitals. Let them know we're alive, not just a ship." Zara hesitated. "Captain, that's risky. If they're analyzing us, they could use that data." Lena cut her off. "They're already scanning our biosigns. Might as well make it clear we're sentient. Do it." Zara nodded, her fingers flying as she encoded their names. Lena Voss, Arjun Patel, Zara Kim, Mateo Cruz, Aisha Anoy, Nikolai Volkov, along with basic human physiological data, heart rates, oxygen levels, neural activity. She wrapped it in the same rhythmic structure as the probe signals and sent it out. The response was immediate. The probe's holograms flickered, their symbols rearranging into new forms, curves and lines that mimicked human heartbeats, then spiraled into something more complex, almost like a map. Aisha's console pinged. "Captain, the planet's energy output just doubled," she said, her voice tight. "But it's not attacking. It's opening." The hologram of Arendor showed a massive section of the surface shifting, the glassy plains parting like a curtain to reveal a vast, glowing chamber beneath, its walls lined with the same silver veins, now pulsing in sync with the crew's encoded vitals. Nikolai's jaw dropped. "Is that an invitation or a trap?" "Doesn't matter," Lena said, her voice steady despite the adrenaline flooding her system. "We're not landing again. Mateo, keep us on course. Aisha, monitor those probes. If they twitch, I want to know." But the probes didn't twitch. They began to move, not toward the ship, but in a slow, synchronized orbit around it, their holograms projecting a steady stream of symbols that Zara's scanners struggled to keep up with. "They're not chasing us," she said, her voice a mix of relief and wonder. "They're escorting us." Arjun's eyes narrowed. "Escorting us where? That chamber? Or something else?" The Odyssey Dawn pushed deeper into the Kuiper Belt, the probes trailing like ghostly sentinels. Arendor's signal grew stronger, its rhythm now laced with something new, a tone that felt almost welcoming. Zara's scanner decoded fragments of the new transmission, images, or at least approximations, of vast structures beneath Arendor's surface, towers of liquid metal, chambers filled with shifting lights, and what looked like pathways stretching into the planet's core. "This isn't just a machine," Zara said, her voice trembling with excitement. "It's a civilization. Or it was. Maybe it's been waiting for someone to find it." Mateo snorted. "Waiting to eat us, maybe." Aisha shot him a look. "Focus, Cruz. My scans show those probes are redirecting energy from Arendor. They're powering something, but it's not on the planet." She adjusted the hologram, zooming out to show the Kuiper Belt. Faint signatures appeared, dozens, then hundreds of objects waking up, their gravitational pull too precise to be natural. Arjun's face went pale. "It's not just Arendor. It's a network, a whole damn network of these things." Lena's mind churned. A network meant purpose. Maybe defense, maybe communication, maybe something humanity couldn't even grasp. "Nikolai, open a channel to Earth."